Hey guys, Nick Ringus here. Happy Friday. I hope you had a great week. As always on Friday, I like to recap the wins of the week and go through highlights, accomplishments, progress made over the last 7 days. And that's what we're going to do here today, as always. So this exercise comes from Dan Sullivan's book, The Gap and the Gain, which is great. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. And I won't get too much into it because I've done that in the past. But yeah, just know that it comes from The Gap and the Gain if you want to look into it a little further. So let's start with a personal win. Tonight, it might be recency bias, but tonight I went out to dinner with my daughters. My wife is out to dinner with friends. So I took the girls out, and it was just the three of us, and it was fantastic. It was a good night. Good night out. Professionally, for the last 7 days, our mini game is now live, and we're calling it Fishing for Clients. I did another video on it. Just a couple of stories around that and things around the mini game, though, just to add to what I've previously said about it. So originally, I learned about mini games from Scaling Up, which was obviously not the Great Game of Business. It's a different operating system. And they call them quarterly themes. And I feel like they make it a little bit more corporate by doing that and a little less, childish or childlike. But it's really the same thing. And I never got it back then. I never understood why you'd have a quarterly theme with prizes at the end, and all of the team focused on one rock or one priority, and either going after an opportunity or correcting a weakness. I never understood it the way that Scaling Up put it. And even when I first started with the Great Game of Business at our agency, I didn't really understand mini games then either, to be honest. We launched a couple just because we were told and coached that they are super important. They get us, get anybody who plays mini games. They allow for quick wins in the organization, and they correct the biggest issue or biggest constraint facing the company. So you see the best gains after playing a mini game with the team in the company. So for that reason, I did launch the two mini games. It was a little bit ambitious, but we did a lot of things wrong, and there was a lot of learning opportunities there, which I took over into this mini game. So luckily, I didn't quit on them, and I feel like this one is awesome. It's called Fishing for Clients, and the scoreboard has a fishing boat on it with different lines in the water, each line representing a new channel or pool that we're fishing in for our ideal clients. Things like email marketing, postcards, etc. And I talked to Kevin Walter, the Great Game of Business coach that I am shadowing today, and I asked him for his feedback, and he said that he loves it, but he would love to see that that we could tell if we were winning or losing within 3 seconds of looking at the scoreboard, which was not very clear because it's a very busy scoreboard. So in the middle, he recommended almost like a thermometer where you can see the goal and you're filling it in along the way. So if our goal is to have, let's say, 40 appointments or opportunities this quarter, then there should be boxes that we're filling in or putting stickers along the way to see our progress a little bit more clearly. So I thought that was great. Another great thing about the mini game that I've realized is that one thing we were lacking at our company, especially because we're a remote agency, is scoreboards. Even from Scaling Up days when I was running the company using Scaling Up, one of the things they said was to have scoreboards everywhere. So with the Great Game, it makes it a lot more easy to kind of organically come up with these scoreboards as we go, because we're playing a mini game for sales and marketing, and that scoreboard from that mini game could be used for that department forever. because it's just tracking different metrics and KPIs within that department. So the scoreboard will be here for a while, I think, and it'll be useful for a while. And I actually left parts of it blank so we can update it in future quarters and use it again. So another win out of this win is having a scoreboard. Aside from our overall company financial scoreboard, now we have a sales and marketing scoreboard, and it all drives towards that critical number that we've set for ourselves. The second win of the week, a little long-winded there on mini games, but super exciting. And the second win of the week was that our annual plan is finally finalized. So we have targets to go after, and we were going through the annual plan on our weekly huddle, and we were going through forward forecasting as we always do, and how the rest of the month will look like for each line item on our scoreboard. And even though we lost a big client at the beginning of the month, this is really powerful because it gives you clarity as to how you can get over things. I don't know if that makes sense, but up until yesterday when we did this exercise, forward forecasting, I was just, frankly, I had these doubts and negative thoughts creeping in about losing the client, about, the business not doing so well. But until we did the forward forecasting and we all worked out a way where we can still be profitable without the client and where we could still pay our monthly debt payments, there was power in that clarity, because now I feel like we have a clear plan on how to move forward without the client and still make money. So before this forward forecasting, before Great Game of Business, we probably would have went the month of January at least, and then realized that we lost money or made a very small profit, didn't do as well as we'd like to. And then, by then it's too late. And it's always that we're acting at the last minute to try to correct things for future months. And when normally when the times are almost like dire is when we acted at that time. Now it's just so powerful to do it preemptively and to work through things through the month, so that by the time the end of the month comes, we already know if we're going to be profitable or not. And we've done our best to cut costs, to move things around, to bring on new clients, to replace the clients, whatever the case may be. We have a plan on how to stay profitable even without that client. So if you're not doing forward forecasting, if you're not in the Great Game, I highly recommend looking forward in your meetings as opposed to always reporting backwards. It's just such a mind shift in business, and you just feel so much more prepared and ready for anything. The last professional win was that I was on a Ask Me Anything AMA call with the great copywriter Dan Kennedy, the great marketing man. Dan Kennedy, he's one of the first marketing guys that I've ever studied way back in 2010 or 2009 when I was running the restaurant. I found Dan Kennedy. I subscribed to his newsletter, and now I'm back on his newsletter for the past 6 months or so. And I was on an Ask Me Anything call yesterday, and for the second month in a row, I asked him a question. And I asked him a question about how to differentiate your company when the market that you're in has become full of competition and sharks and everybody kind of fighting for the scraps. And it was an awesome answer what he had. It was just so thorough of how to come up with a blue ocean strategy or how to differentiate yourself from the pack. So I'm pretty clear on that for the first time ever. It's kind of been bugging me for years, actually. And and just talking to him and asking him the question directly and having him answer it was awesome. Frankly, it's as if he knew exactly what I was going through. He said, "Yeah, this is especially in technology companies or in technology industries, tech industries, when after a while, and usually faster in these industries than others, people start copying each other, and the water gets red pretty quick, with red ocean, blue ocean, red one being full of sharks and full of blood, in the analogy. So he told me that this is normal, and um, the best possible scenario is that we come up with a different strategy and have a moat around it so that we can protect ourselves from competitors coming in and blooding the waters once again. He told me a few things on how to do that, so that was really cool. All right, next week, number one thing is playing the mini game, um, serving the market. So our mentality in marketing has changed a little bit, and I have the team thinking more about how can we serve the market, regardless of if they're our clients or not, and helping the market get results in advance, as Frank Kern calls it. So I'm going to be focused on playing the mini game, getting appointments, putting that entire sales and marketing system in place so that we're getting a steady stream of new appointments. I want to make progress there. Secondly, I want to have all of our drivers finalized so we can have even more scoreboards throughout the company where we're looking at KPIs, and every single person will be clear on how they can impact the company's critical number for 2023. So that line of sight is awesome. And then lastly, I'm going to work on the differentiation, the blue ocean strategy that then Dan Kennedy kind of explained to me and walked me through. I want to make some progress there as well, because I think that's, if we can get that right, we could be in a category of one, at least for a little while, and sales will come easier, and things will just be easier. It'll be a much easier business to run. All right, so those were my wins. Feel free, if you have any wins, feel free to share them. I'm all ears. If you have any questions about the great game or about any of this, don't hesitate to reach out. People support what they help create. Thanks again for watching.